at ccfm.org.za. It's time for us to say a very good morning to Nico Kleynhans. Thank you for your time this morning, sir.
Good morning. We often complain about bad service, and we then don't look at the problem from the perspective of the worker, because they will tell you that often they didn't cause the problem. They have to fix the problem, and the bosses haven't given them the authority to fix the problem. And the more problems that hit their desk, the more angry we get as members of the public. So the turnover in these departments is always very high. Now, at home, I've got a couple of tasks. And one of my tasks is that on Friday, I have to buy groceries. I get 3 lists. I get a list from my housekeeper, and this is what she wants. And then I get a list from the office, and this tells me what they want. And then a third list is made up depending on who's unemployed and who's and those are people who've got to get food, otherwise the kids are going to go hungry. So those lists are combined, and then I sit down and divide that list into 3. And I shop at 3 different shops. And where I shop depends on the specials in that store for the week. It's a lot of work, but it saves a couple of R100 a week, and it's worth the effort. And then with a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old as bodyguards, we go shopping. So on Friday, we went to the first store, we filled the trolley, and when it came to paying, I present my phone. And I normally pay, and everything goes fine. But on this day, it was declined. So we tried a second time, and it was declined again. I had a conversation with the manager, and he said, well, during the day, they had a breakdown in their particular company and the banking system. But as far as he was concerned, it had been fixed. I had no choice. I'd wasted nearly an hour of my time. I had to leave the trolley behind and move to store number 2. Now, this time I started off at store number 2 by going to the inquiry counter. And I said, are you having any problems with the banking system? And she said, no. And I said, this is what has happened to me. If this happens here, you're going to see the most frightening sight that you can possibly see in South Africa. Because have you ever seen what it looks like when a white bloke tries to do a toy? It's arms and legs all over the place. It's a bit like watching a giraffe trying to do a breakdance. And you don't want to see that. So you're telling me if I fill my trolley here, I'm not going to have the problem. We filled the trolley. I got to the till. As I got to the till, she happened to walk by. I presented my phone, and it was declined. And I said to her, shall we do the giraffe dance now? She ran off, and a couple of seconds later, the manager appeared. And he said, is there a problem? And I said, well, I can't pay you, and I'm obviously going to have to come back at another time. And then he said to me, okay, I'll tell you what, I will pay. And I said, but this is a basket of nearly R1,400. And he said, I will pay. I'll give you my bank details, and then you EFT the money. And I said, but this is South Africa. This is Cape Town, the land of scalums. How do you know I'm going to do that? And he said, in my job, I've got to do a quick assessment. And I assume that you're going to be honest. Let me pay. So I did that, and an hour later, he had his money. On Saturday, my card declined. On Sunday, my card declined. By Monday morning, I went to my bank. By then, my private banker said she couldn't fix the problem. I walked in. The young man there met me. He said he fixed the problem. He reset everything. He reinstalled. I went to the store at that particular shopping mall, and I tried to buy 2 headphones. It was declined. I went back to him and I said, we got to find a solution. So he put me next to a computer, dialed, and I spoke to the department that actually designed the app. And I explained my problem. They fixed whatever they said was wrong, and they said, go and try and use your app again. I went to the store. It was declined again. Now, this time I brought the declined slip with me, and I asked to speak to the manager. She came out. She listened very patiently to my problem. She looked at the declined slip. She called in her team, and she said, let's fix this problem. At that point, she identified herself as a CCFm listener. Now, I'm glad I didn't do anything that I would regret later. But she tried to solve my problem. And then she went with me to the store and she got another declined slip. She took it back to the bank. 3 hours later, she was still struggling. So now we've got a manager at a bank with her team who had spent 3 hours dealing with one customer's problem and involving all kinds of people at their head office who were actually online. So it was like a Zoom call. We've got like 10 people trying to fix the problem. After 3 hours, I got tired and I said to her, I need a coffee break. Would you mind? Here's the last slip. I need to just have coffee. And then I had a conversation with God, and it went something like this. Okay, when I get into this situation, it's because you are trying to teach me something. Let's assume you're trying to teach me about patience. It's obvious that experiment is not working. Not today. This person has devoted 3 hours. Her team has devoted 3 hours. Can I learn a lesson at a different time? But just get this thing working now. I walked into the branch. She met me with a smile on her face. She said, we think we know what it is. Let's go back to the store and buy it again. And it went through. And my problem was solved. And then it hit me. God was not trying to teach me about patience. I happen to believe that most people who are supposed to help you at the end of the day are unsuccessful. That was my belief. What God was trying to say to me, on Friday, you met a manager who went out of his way to help you. He showed you he cares. Today, you've met a manager who, with her team, put all their work aside for 3 hours to help you. That is the lesson that you have to learn, that the world is not only full of people who don't care. There are people who care. So today, folks, I wish you a happy day. I wish you a toy-free day. May you never have to do the unhappy dance of a giraffe today, but may you meet people who do make a difference and celebrate that difference. Have a great day.
Sure. Thank you so much.